Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali y Dominus Marquez de Dali de Pubol, or Salvador Dali, was a Spanish surrealist. He was born on May 11, 1904 in a place called Figueras. Surrealism means art that looks like it came out of a dream. He died on January 23, 1989. Dali was born in Spain in a place called Figueras. His father was a lawyer, and his mom didn't have a job. He was named after the dead child who was his brother. His brother died 3 years before he was born. His parents brought him to the dead Salvador's grave, and he later said he felt a very strong bond. He was a bit of a rascal when he was a child. He rarely even paid attention at school. Instead, he stared at the ceiling and saw paintings in them that he imagined. He could also be very caring. One day, he found a bat with a broken wing. Dali took it home and took care of it. Later, the bat got eaten by ants. You can see that it had a big effect on Dali because in a lot of his paintings, you can see ants crawling around a lot of stuff. Later, he started to get interested in art through reading art books that his dad got him. He knew people who really enjoyed art and inspired him to further to do art. He was also inspired by his favorite painter, Ramon Pichot's. Later, he was expelled from secondary school because he was so good at art and he was a bad child. He then went to the Hispano-French School of the Immaculate Conceptions. The school was an art school. All of the teachers were very impressed, and he was not being crazy until he made more friends. He then got expelled for 2 months from the school because he refused to show the instructor his painting. Even though he was very crazy, he still was amazing at art. Later, he discovered the surrealist
Around this time, he also got involved in some movies. He met Gala Dali in 1929, and they later married. Gala helped Salvador get into the surrealist movement. Some funny stories about this time are when he did a lecture in an old-fashioned diver suit, he drove a Rolls Royce filled with cauliflowers, and he took a walrus for a walk.
Later, he got kicked out of the surrealist movement and he had to move to America because of World War II. He continued to do art, but his time in which he did his best art was over. I do think that the change in life really affected his art. Around this time, he signed a ton of canvases, and now there are a ton of fake Dali paintings in circulations. Dali has a lot of famous paintings. Most of them are in the period in which Dali was part of the surrealists. Most people say that this was his best time for his art, and I agree. Earlier in his life, he was focusing on Cubism, and later in his life, he started to paint religious paintings with hints of surrealism in it. His most famous painting was The Persistence of Memory. As much as I do like that painting, I think that he made even better paintings. He didn't only do art, he also did movies. One movie that he worked on was banned from the theater due to riots outside while the movie was playing. Dali was one weird but amazing artist, wasn't he? He did the oddest paintings like the Enigma of William Tell right here. He did some very weird things in his life, but he still was sane enough to paint. I hope you enjoyed this video. My information came from the book Dali by Paul Morehouse, the book The Life and Works of Dali by Nathaniel Harris, thedali.com, and the Wikipedia page for Salvador Dali.